Hello, folks. This is Brandon Chapman with TheoTrade, recording our video for Monday, August 10th. And boy, as you look at the market today, we did fade from a high, finished basically flat on the session, but so much is packed in such a small day today. As we look across the board on the left-hand side, you'll see energy, silver, gold really kind of leading the way. You'll see a little bit of healthcare, but really at the bottom of the list, you're seeing what? We're seeing NVIDIA, we're seeing real estate, utilities, technology generally, just kind of faltering today as semiconductors are really kind of leading things to the downside. So if we look at SMH, I pointed out last week, puts being bought on Friday in SMH specifically, and looking at the potential risks of semiconductors moving lower. And of course, you figure if bonds go lower, XLU should move lower as well, but it hasn't always been the case over the last little bit. But recently, utilities have really seen some sell side action. And real estate broke today, kind of broke out below a trend line if we're to draw something across the lows today. And last Thursday, Block Hunter Console picked up some big prints in AGNC, in IYR, which is another ETF just like XLRE, really pointed the idea that we may be seeing a breakout to the downside in real estate. And what's going to be a trigger? Of course, is going to be bonds, right? If we look at TLT as an example, TLT is down nearly 1% today as yields were rising. And of course, this upsets the real estate part of the market, interest rate parts of the market like utilities and real estate, but it also upsets technology. Companies like NVIDIA borrow lots of money or finance a lot of stuff. And so at the end of the day, as prices to basically finance purchases of, GPUs and all this other stuff, this may be an issue for NVIDIA. So higher interest rates or higher yields does not help technology generally. And right now we're in a position where oil prices surging. We're looking at the 10-year yield up 0.39 or 0.84%, but 0.39 points today. We're starting to see that the upward trajectory may be there. Now, what's some of the stuff that came out today? Obviously with Iran, for example, do we have a deal? Do we not? Is somebody else negotiating the deal? What is in the deal? Is Trump looking for some remuneration from Iran for getting involved? Who knows, right? And what kind of teeth they're going to be letting that. Either scenario, oil began to move today, up 5%. That's a big deal. And if you look at XLE, energy shares actually underperformed oil. But energy shares made a very nice move today. But if we look at XLE, and I'll kind of look at this relative to the beginning of today's trading. If we go to the statistics, how did it really change? Calls began to sizzle, and you'll notice 51% is at the ask, 42% at the bid for puts. But when you really start to dig in, you start to identify where the trade is. I think it's 18 SEP out here. It certainly looks like, a degree that we're just calls being bought back. I'm trying to remember the expiration in here. Let's try 21 August. Just seemed like a lot of calls were being bought back earlier today at the 59.5 strike, maybe the 60 strike. And it just didn't seem like today was as bullish as it seemed off of the bat. There was some trades on the put side. But if we go to Block Hunter, this will bring us the entire list of opening trades today in XLE. And it looks like we did start to file in a little bit on the bullish side here for 60.50. But when you start to look at, for example, the 60 strike 5,000 contracts bought at the ask, we got 10,000 contracts there for August 21st, puts at the ask, a little smaller quantity on the call side at the bid. But it just seemed like today, maybe not as decidedly bullish. Those are those 59.5s for August 21st. So when I was looking at these earlier, I was wondering, are they just buying back those puts there, right? Buying back those calls on that one? We'll have to see how the open interest updates tomorrow. Maybe I'm wrong, but it certainly seemed like those were being bid earlier, being bought earlier, being filled at the ask, which is certainly contributing to these numbers down here, but inevitably may not be opening interest. And that's really what I was looking at, because when this triggered the alert at 15,000, is barely above the open interest. And so we've seen an incremental trade today, but it's not as decidedly bullish if you go through these energy trades that happened today. You look at the put side here, 165s, 170s, maybe some being sold there at the 155s. But if you look at the statistics on XOP earlier today, it was much more on the put side, right? So we're seeing here Call sizzles up a fair bit, but puts are outnumbering the calls quite significantly. Again, at the ask or between the market, but we know as we're looking at this right here, these were being bought at the ask. We got the 170s being bought at the ask. And so the energy trade is interesting. It's not quite as bullish as you might expect. And so as we're looking at it, today oil prices are surging. Energy stocks are up, but not exactly outpacing oil prices necessarily. If you look at USO as a proxy, or 6.73%. We're in a steep backwardation, for example, in forward/CL. And so the pressure right now, this is kind of abated a little bit. That's March 6th. So we're seeing the curve flatten after last week as oil prices are gaining ground here, which is maybe, I guess, good, taking some of the upward pressure on, but we're still in backwardation. The pressure is still the upside in oil. And I was looking at stuff like Valero, refiners, for example, but even refiners went up today on the significant rise in oil. And you wonder, for example, forward/RBOB, gasolines were up nearly 5% today. Oil still outperformed forward/CL, right? Oil still higher. The crack spread still coming in. And yet refiners bid today. PSX, for example, MPC. So kind of crazy. They were seeing surging in oil refiners or integrated names, despite the fact that the spread between oil and gasoline has actually come in and is not as bullish. Their cost structure has gone up more than what they can sell it for. So the market's just kind of interesting today, right? Big surge in energy. We're definitely seeing kind of a vol up scenario there, but at the end of the day, the trade is not as solid and as strong as you might think. But if we look at, for example, gold, commodities generally doing pretty well today. I'll just type in GLD up here, and there's 20 different prints showing here on the chart. Bring this down here. There we go. 20 different prints showing. But again, let's focus on stuff that's probably being more bought or opened rather. So we do that there. We'll do location. We'll look at stuff being filled at the ask and above. And you'll see, again, it's predominantly on the call side. 110,000 contracts at the 455 strike for September 18th. That's a big, big number. So we reset our filters. We'll just kind of zero in on that call side. Flip that to put, take it off there. 100,000 contracts. We'll sort by vol alert. Scroll back to the top there. You'll see what? A spread. We're buying the 420, selling the 445s. Scroll over to the right. Same time, right before the close today. Again, another tranche in here, 430, 410s. And in this case, they're selling the 410s and buying the 430s. So it looks like they might be selling maybe half and then buying that further out of the money. A slightly bullish trade here in gold, but still different expirations for September 4th. We're selling the call spread, buying the call spread for September 18th. So gold today certainly looks like the last half hour, we really began to pick up some positive sentiment, some positive trade. Notice we reversed intraday and began to run. Even in silver today, again, we're seeing that silver shares are higher. And of course, silver option trade, it's all on the call side virtually here. We'll add in puts, but there's just not many puts traded, mostly at the bid. So we take off puts and we focus on the ask story here. So let's kind of remove those in here. There's a spread 65. That was a short call vertical. Don't worry about that. But we look in here, for example, generally speaking, buying 19,000 contracts, mostly bought at the 68 strike for August 21st. Point being is that right now commodities are showing some upward lift, gold and silver. And I'm generally more of a fan of gold at this point. If the market starts to decline, GDX will typically underperform the S&P if the S&P starts to weaken a little bit. And so you'll see today even underperforming GLD. So I think the best place right now for commodity space is gold. I think as we go into the next Fed meeting, does the Fed take a dovish approach? Do they not raise rates because of the jobs number? But we start to see the backdrop of oil going up because we're not quite done in Iran. Gold and silver going up because the Fed's dovish. Lots of scenarios, but the bond market really starting to feel the pain as a result of maybe we're not done yet, right? So we had a little bit of a bounce back after the federal government intervened in the dollar yen trade. USD/JPY. And you think, oh man, intervene. Now all of a sudden what's happening today? We're surging back on the dollar. Is the Treasury ready to stand in and intervene in the yen market again to hold 160? again, we're really being tested right now pretty significantly in the broader market. And it makes sense that the S&P might be seeing some sort of trepidation. Now, as we look at the volatility markets, things like the VIX is way down here at 15.5. Yesterday on Friday, it was closed below 15. But this really doesn't tell the true story. And I see people sometimes use this. And I saw one guy I used to work with flip these around, and I'm like, you never got it right, did you? But anyway, the point is that we're using this to understand the premium in the futures. And right now, the premium in the futures is about over 20% higher. In fact, it's 22% higher. The 3-month VIX is 22% higher than the spot VIX. This is pricing a significant potential rise in the future, right? If you go to product depth here, go to /VX. What this means is that currently, and I'll just take off that other curve for March 6th. What it means is that the VIX is in pretty steep contango here. Compare the September contract and the October contract. And again, this is reflective of steep contango structure, which is bearish. We saw a pretty big drop in the skew last week on Tuesday. After we saw a kind of a vol up, spot up scenario on Tuesday, where the S&P ended up breaking a major wall at 760, and we saw call option buying. And as a result, we really saw it flip the script from positive skew to negative skew intraday as the flood of call option buying driving things up, even gapping up the next day. So as we go back to, for example, the VIX 3 to VIX ratio and skew, understand the skew dropped temporarily below 130, and then we popped right back above again. Friday dropped to about 132.5, but we might see today, we could see vol up and the skew rise, which is more unusual. But in this kind of circumstance, we're seeing a lot of uncertainty and the VIX is at low levels. There's a pretty good chance is that the skew may rise. Now, the rise in the VIX certainly kind of belies that, but sometimes what you'll see is that they do buy puts and sell calls. Sometimes they just buy more puts, and that's why the VIX is going higher today, and skew may rise as well. We'll have to watch that for tomorrow. But right now, as we're looking at the S&P 500, the VIX markets are pricing in a 5 to 10% correction from this point at 773. Now, if I draw a line off of the high right there, what is a 5% correction? How far do we get? We're talking about 740 would get us, or back to our lows here would be around a 5 to 10% correction. Again, 5% starts about 738, and 10% gets us below the low from back on June 26th. So recognize the market's pretty vulnerable right now, right? The hedges are being placed. The downside's being priced in. The question is whether the structure of the S&P 500, in this case, we'll look at the SPY, we're talking about the gamma exposure, is shifting in a way that might start to exacerbate the downside. Today, not much going on. We have a vol tool here on TheoTrade here called the Vol Suite. We're getting ready to launch here soon, but the point is that the GEX structure for today, this is based on where the open interest was coming into the day. We had a pretty significant level at 773 and 775 and 780. And again, that was $3.5 billion. We were over $4 billion earlier in the day at the 70.75 strike price. And as a result, as we tested that level early in the session, and I kind of played off of that this morning, actually did it right around there. We saw another kind of pop, tested actual 775 that began to break down. I was able to get out of my spread for 100% gain right on this little downdraft right there. And then we just settled in around 773, which 773, I guess it makes sense. Why? Because if you look at 773 today, 10,000 and 4,000, that was the high open interest level. And we were in proximity. We're ways off our 780s. Even 775 didn't offer more open interest at that level. So we end up pinning really at the max pain today, right about 773. That nice little pop the last minute. We did drift slightly below it, but max pain today was at 773. It's exactly where we finished. 775 was the call wall. We backed off of it. We failed to break above it. Dealers selling into strength, buying into weakness, but then breaking right here down to that lower tier and almost getting as low as 770, 771, 770. So that was today, right? Really played against that GEX framework. This kind of drove it through and then kind of held on at 773. I thought we'd end up with a pretty tight range today, 775 to 773, 772. It's about what happened. And if we back this out to a daily chart, And you'll see the range here is pretty dang tight. I don't see the range this week really having a chance to get out. 780, 775 right now, 780 out here are certainly major levels for the week. I'm looking at 780 at the upside, and then down here, 758 to the downside as we focus on Friday's expiration and making a decision. Okay, where are these major levels that are going to get defended? And if they break, we'll establish maybe additional volatility. And 758's down here, right? So we got 20,000 traded today, 27,000 existing. We got 13,000 on the call side. My guess, we probably start to add some puts for this Friday's expiration. And over here, those calls might be added. They might be closing out as well. We might be diminishing the positive gamma structure. We'll have to see how the open interest changes. But at the end of the day, as we look at tomorrow's expiration, one thing we have to understand is the negative gamma environment intensifying, number one? Because if we look at the gamma here, the put side, there's just not a lot of gamma, only 500 million at that level. We're not even close to that. And even if the price gets down there, we might get to 500 million. We're seeing all of the gamma right now on the call side. That's where all the open interest is. And as we go back and we start to look, are we starting to build to the downside? Well, notice up here, 773, 99,000, and it continues to escalate and be high all the way up. You look right here, 120,000 at 773. And again, it tails off a little bit. We do have a decent amount kind of kicking in there, 120, 90, 56. So we're starting to look like we're starting to build some negative gamma, possibly. We'll have to see how much of this translates to open interest tomorrow. So we'll have to update it and look at it. But it looks like we're starting to build some downside exposure that if we start to break below or gap below 773 tomorrow, we may open up into a negative gamma structure that's now a bit bigger ever since we saw today that volume being traded around this side, particularly in the put side. So there's a chance that tomorrow that the gamma structure to the downside or gamma exposure is not just we're on the verge or maybe embedded in a negative gamma environment. We might find ourselves actually in a more highly negative gamma environment, maybe surpassing 500 million, maybe pushing towards 1 billion. And this creates maybe the downside. But again, we got to wait for this to shake out. We got to see how much that translates to open interest. And again, something you can check easily before the open tomorrow. But we're on gamma's edge right now. The downside gamma is intensifying. And if we look at today, we look at the put to call structure. It ended up, we were at 0.9 earlier. We finished at 1.1. So we've had a number of days just in the last few trading sessions, we've had a greater put than call ratio after a phenomenally low number of calls being traded on Monday and Tuesday of last week. We're maybe starting to see the structure flip. We may need to see a much bigger number to get us really leaning negative, but definitely the vol structure right now, if you look at the skew, you look at the forward premium, the 3-month, the 1-month VIX, everything's looking like, man, there's a lot of hedging going on to the downside. And with today's move in interest rates, this is a potential catalyst. And again, we may start to see tomorrow, we may start to see more of that downside case being created that may lean into the market and may see us in very quick order to 730. If we don't, we're not going to have the major catalysts or accelerators, but we might just grind it out to the downside. So depending on how the GEX or gamma exposure changes or adapts in the coming days will really kind of shape what the next pullback's going to look like. Well, folks, that's what we got for today. Catch you back next week on the video. Have a great one. Thank you.